What if I told you that most people are chasing joy in all the wrong places, and that true happiness isn't found in success or money or pleasure but in something far more subtle, something quieter, something slower? It's not loud like ambition or flashy like luxury, but once you taste it you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never see happiness the same way again. There's this strange paradox we live in. We want peace, but we keep chasing chaos. We want fulfillment, but we keep grasping at distractions. Open your phone and you'll see it. 100 hacks, 1,000 ways to be more productive, more wealthy, more admired. And yet under all of it, there's a deep sense of exhaustion, like something vital is missing. But what if the answer isn't out there? What if it's been inside you this whole time, just waiting to be uncovered? To understand this shift, we have to go back, not just decades, but centuries. Thousands of years ago, two very different men living in two very different parts of the world stumbled upon the same radical truth, that joy is not about adding more, but about wanting less. One was Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha. The other Epicurus, a Greek philosopher whose name is often misunderstood, twisted into something he never meant. The Buddha sat under a tree in India and realized that the root of suffering was craving our endless thirst for things to be different from how they are. Epicurus, on the other hand, walked through his garden in Athens and told his students that the good life wasn't about luxury, but about tranquility, about learning what you truly need and letting go of the rest. At first glance, their worlds couldn't be more different. But when you look closely, their messages echo each other like two sides of the same coin. The Buddha said, "Desire is a trap. Free yourself." Epicurus said, "If you wish to be rich, do not add to your money, but subtract from your desire." Both men were pointing at the same door, the door to deep lasting joy, but from different directions. And this is where things get interesting, because the modern world teaches us the exact opposite. You're told to dream bigger, hustle harder, climb faster. You're taught that happiness is somewhere just over the next hill, hidden in a raise or a new car, or 10,000 more followers. But that joy, it never lasts. Why? Because it was never real to begin with. It was a performance, a loop, a trick. Your mind plays on you to keep you chasing things that can't satisfy your soul. Now here's the truth that Buddhism and Epicureanism both teach, though in different languages. Real joy isn't something you earn, it's something you uncover by stripping away everything that isn't real, every false need, every shallow desire, every mental loop that whispers, "You're not enough yet." That whisper, it's the most dangerous voice in the world, and until you learn to quiet it, you'll keep running in circles. But once you quiet it, once you see it for what it is, a whole new world opens up. You begin to notice the things you used to ignore. The way sunlight feels on your face, the warmth of tea in your hands, the breath moving in and out of your body like the ocean. You stop performing for the world and you start coming home to yourself. This is where joy lives. But the journey there, it's not easy, because it asks you to do something radical, to stop chasing and start being. Both the Buddha and Epicurus laid out paths for this. Not grand heroic paths, but quiet ones, deliberate ones. For the Buddha, it was the middle way. Not too much pleasure, not too much denial. Just enough. Just now. Just this moment. For Epicurus, it was the simple life. A little bread, a few olives, a conversation with a dear friend. He wasn't against pleasure. He just knew that some pleasures cost more than they're worth, that chasing too much can make you feel less. And yet today, Epicurus is misunderstood. People hear Epicurean and think of 5-star meals and luxury vacations, but that's not what he meant. To him, the finest pleasure was the absence of pain, the absence of anxiety, what he called ataraxia, a kind of deep, unshakable inner calm. Sound familiar? It should, because the Buddha taught the same thing. In his language, it was nirvana, not a blissful escape, but a mind free from turbulence, a heart untouched by the winds of desire or fear. So here's the question: how do we get there? In a world that's louder, faster, and more addicted to dopamine than ever before, how do we live with ancient wisdom in modern lives? That's where the playbook comes in. You start small. You simplify. You get radically honest about what you actually need and let go of what's just noise. You stop treating your mind like a battleground and start treating it like a garden. That means pruning it. Daily. Cutting out what doesn't grow you. Turning down the volume of what distracts you. Creating space for what actually matters. You build rituals, not routines to impress anyone. Not productivity hacks, just quiet anchors. You sit in silence even when it's uncomfortable. You eat mindfully, even if it's just one meal a day. You listen more. You scroll less. You talk to people face to face. You let boredom visit you without panic, because that boredom, it's not a problem. It's a doorway into presence. And presence is the birthplace of all joy. See, we've been taught that happiness comes from having the perfect life, but that's a lie. There's no such thing. Life will never be perfect. But presence makes everything enough. It makes food taste better. It makes conversations deeper. It makes your breath feel like a gift. And once you get a taste of that kind of joy, the quiet kind, the rooted kind, you stop needing the other kind. You stop chasing highs that drop you. You stop needing constant stimulation. You realize that the greatest luxury is peace of mind, and both the Buddha and Epicurus would agree. Peace of mind doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. But here's something they didn't always say directly, something that's crucial to understand. You don't have to renounce everything to be happy. You don't need to move to a monastery or grow olives in an ancient garden. You just need to wake up, to pause, to question the script that's been running in your head for years. The script that says you need to be more, have more, do more. When the truth is, you are already enough. You just forgot. Because the world profits when you forget. When you feel small, you buy more. When you feel anxious, you scroll more. When you feel unworthy, you work more. But when you remember who you are, really remember, you become dangerous to all that noise. You stop obeying it. You stop chasing things that never mattered, and you begin living deeply, fully now. That's what Buddhism and Epicureanism are really about. Not belief systems, not dogmas, but lenses, tools, ways to return to yourself. They both teach you how to hold life gently, how to savor it without gripping it too tightly. They teach you that joy is not a prize at the end of struggle, but a seed that grows when you stop struggling against life. You are not broken. You're just distracted. Come home to yourself. And when you do, you'll realize this right here, right now. This moment. This breath. This life. It was always enough. You just needed to slow down long enough to notice. And that's the real secret. Joy was never out there, it was always here. Waiting, quiet, patient. Just like you. If you've made it this far, then maybe something deep inside you already knows the truth. That joy isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. It's something you return to piece by piece every time you choose stillness over noise, presence, over distraction, simplicity, over the endless climb. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to become a monk or a philosopher. You just need to become honest. Honest about what truly nourishes you. Honest about what empties you, and brave enough to begin letting go. Because joy, the kind that actually lasts, it doesn't come from having more. It comes from needing less. So if this spoke to you, if it helped even a little, take a second to breathe. Really breathe. Let it land. And when you're ready, subscribe to this channel. Because we're building something rare here. Conversations that go deeper. Reflections that pull you inward. And truths that most people are too distracted to see. Don't miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching. Thank you for remembering. And above all, thank you for choosing the quieter path. We'll see you in the next one.